Shout out to my kid, Guap up in Chopper Fin, run up them digits, I run up the money, I'm getting fat. I'm stacking up chips, I'm stacking up Pringles. Niggas they mad, don't get glad, my niggas get glad. Make a nigga run like Forrest Gump, turn me up, nigga I'm crumps, smoking on kush, I only smoke just to turn me up. Nigga I'm live, like certified, I'm going live. Nigga be live, I turned up nigga, don't got no guy.
Hey, what's up y'all? So I'm back with another story time. I know I've been gone for a long little minute, which I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna do another story time and talk about that, why I've been gone so long. Just had to take my own little mini break real quick just to get some things together. But I'm gonna tell y'all a story time. Since it is the month of October, you know, Halloween is coming up. I'm gonna give y'all a story time about the time I thought my grandma's house was haunted. So before I tell this story, I have to give a little backstory to the whole how leading up to how I thought this was about. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and please follow me on my social media. I did update them down below, so I'll post them somewhere down here so you can see them. So around this time, my parents had got a divorce. Me and my mom ended up moving to South Memphis to my grandma's house. And around this time, I haven't been around my grandma enough to know like how she is, like living with her, like living with you know how you just go to your grandma's house, you don't just actually live at your grandma's house, so you don't know like full-heartedly like how people live and how they are, how they like things at their house to be. So it was a little fun, exciting moment at the time, but also I was just like a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure about how this was gonna go, because you know I ain't been around her like that. Like my mom didn't bring us around like that. Like she kept us in the house, so we never did get to see our family. So just trying to fast forward just a little bit for the sake of making more story times about her. So I'm gonna leave that where it's at. I believe her house was built like in the 1990s. I mean, in my opinion, had to be built like in the 80s, if you really want to be technical, because the house was big. Like when they bought their house was like a flat surface, like a typical flat surface level house. It wasn't, no upstairs, downstairs like it is now. So it was just like one long, you know how those old houses be, just like one long piece of house. But the house was big. It was big on the inside. They just had high ceilings. My grandma and granddad was like into carpentry, so they wanted to make an upstairs on the house, like add an upstairs onto their house. So they did that. What became the upstairs used to be the attic, where pretty much, like the roof. It used to be the attic slash the roof. So the room I ended up getting once I moved in was like on the end of the hallway, like above her room, pretty much the living slash family room. I ended up getting that room. So it was like a couch in there and TV. So I had to put my own little bunk sway in there, put my own little spin on the room, because now I didn't have a room. I had a room, but now I don't have a room. So now I had to make my own. And this being on the end of the hallway, so it's like there was no doors. Like she didn't build the house to the point where she would put a door up. She just had like open rooms upstairs with no door, which I don't, I'm not really understanding why she did that. But it's not my house, like I ain't had no say in that. But if I can find any pictures so you can see what I'm talking about, so y'all have a general idea of like where I'm coming from, what I'm talking about, so you actually keep up with me on this story. During the process of us moving, I did go to, I went to the store and bought me a couple of things to put in that room, because most of my stuff that I had, I either threw it away or put it in storage. I didn't have that much stuff. It was just like, clothes and stuff. But I needed somewhere to put the clothes, so I had to go buy a dresser, like a TV stand. I brought a mirror, make sure y'all remember that I brought a mirror. And just a couple of other little stuff, like drawers and stuff to put my clothes in. And with us moving into the house, we're kind of like moving into unfamiliar territory / moving into a flock that's already there, because my grandma's house was like the go-to house for everybody. So everybody and their mom was gonna be at that house. That's pretty much the hangout spot for everybody. So my cousins stayed over there. So me and my sis, we used to have a random movie night where we all just get together. Me and her just get together and watch movies. So me and my sis just downstairs in her living room, It's a living room off from my grandma's room, so we was down there because that was the only room that had like a decent sized TV that we could hook the DVD player up to. So we went in her room. Like her room was off from the living room, so she made it that way. So we were in there watching movies. I don't know how many movies we ended up watching that night. I know back then The Conjuring and all that stuff was out. Like she used to have me sitting there watching all them scary time movies that I wasn't really just into, I wasn't feeling, but mama ain't raised no hope. So I decided to sit there, you know, just push through it. And prior to this, us moving in, my mom used to walk through the living, like she used to walk through the hallway, through the living room, through the hallway, and she was like, y'all know y'all shouldn't be watching that type of stuff because you like it opens you up to like a lot of stuff that be going on in movies. And I'm like, you know, me being young at the time, I was just, you know, ain't nobody listening to you. We trying to watch the movie and you interrupted us watching the movie. I'm trying, you know, like pay attention so I make sure I don't miss no good part. And you know, you over here talking about nonsense. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know, she do got a point. Like, she might actually be on to something. Because, you know, somebody like this actually had to happen for somebody to actually sit up here and make a movie about it. Then some of those movies she had me watching was like, this is based on a true story. You know, I'm just like over there with, because I'm just like, why you got me watching something that actually like really happened and you sitting over here just eating popcorn? Like, this is you watching it? Like, I was like literally confused by that. So pause right there. Prior to us getting to that part of us watching movies, like a week before that happened, my auntie was like, she saw something. And I'm like, you know, my grandma that she had saw something in her room, like at her house, and she was just like, oh, you know how old people be. It's just like it's one of your cousins or it's your granddaddy, because my granddad did die at the house. She felt like it was one of them. Now, I never used to just say anything about that, but I was just like, you know,
really, nigga?
They should be on this side. Like, they supposed to be, you know, somewhere else. They not supposed to still be up in here with you. Like, they walking around like they got a key to the door. Like, that's not supposed to be going on. Like, what are you talking about? So, that freaked her out. She packed up some clothes and she left and she didn't come back for a couple of days. Going back to the week of us watching these movies, my mama was like, she's seeing stuff and it's stuff up there in her room. And she waking up with these unexplainable marks on her, and I'm just like, okay, pretty much all the females in my family are light skinned, so you hit them or say anything wrong to them, they gonna bruise or they gonna turn red. So you gonna actually see, like, it's marks on her arm and on her shoulder and whatnot, and she can't explain like how she got it. And I'm like, okay, what the F? Like, are you fighting in your sleep? Like, did you think you was Creed or something? Like, what's going on? And you can't explain to me how you got these bruises. So now that's a problem. But I'm not saying anything, but I'm freaking out secretly because I'm trying to, you know, you're freaking out and I'm freaking out, but I'm trying to let you know that I'm not freaking out because you freaking out, because, you know, we freaked out at this point. Of course, what do? We go tell my grandma, hey, there's some stuff going on up in your house. And then she just like, you know, oh, we just making stuff up and we need to stop tripping and whatnot. But she never used to turn none of her lights off. So the whole time that you at her house, you got lights on everywhere. She don't turn none of them off. I mean, she turns none of them off. And you turn one light off, she's gonna lose her mind. So I'm just like, you know, me and my mom moving in, we just like, you know, why all these lights on? So we need to turn them off. Like, we go through turning them off, and she literally lost her mind because we turned her lights off. But we weren't really understanding, but now we understand because we been over there long enough to know, like, out there in South Memphis, when the power go out, the power will go out. Like, the light company, MSGW, do not come out there and try to fix your lights. They don't try to turn your lights on. They gonna wait till the next day. And it was like a whole week that we was out without power. And she did not go to sleep. So I'm just like, I'm young and I need my sleep. So I know you old and you need more sleep than I need. So why are you not sleeping? Grandma, what's going on? You alright? It did not make any sense to me until we had a conversation with her to find out that she is scared of the dark. So she keeps all her lights on in the house, like the whole house lit up like a Christmas tree every single day. She keep all her lights on because she's scared of the dark. But it's saying like you scared of the dark because you seen what everybody else has been talking about. So now it's like it's starting to register about what's going on up in here. Like you kind of know, but you ain't really just speaking on it. So going back to the night of us watching the movies that we was watching, like we watched Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2. Then they had a new one out at the time. I'm gonna put it right here because I can't remember the name of it. But we was watching that, and you, of course, me. Never watching nothing like none of these movies that she putting in this DVD player. I'm losing my mind. Like I'm over there just losing it. And I think she was getting pleasure out of me losing my shit over these movies that we was sitting up here watching. Mind you now, I'm sitting by like my grandma, the way her living room was set up, she had a fireplace right here, a built-in fireplace that she had with a mantle on top. And there was a chair right here, there was a chair right there, and there was a chair right there, and there's a TV over there. So I was sitting over here in this chair beside the fireplace, and Sis was sitting over there in that chair. So I was like, we watching the movie, I'm over there just, it's safe to look. And she had a couple of things up there on that fireplace, like, you walk through her house, you can hear somebody walking through the house. Like, if you downstairs, you hear somebody walking upstairs, like, no matter how hard they walk, nothing falls ever, which is amazing to me. So she had a bunch of little knickknacks up her mantle. So she had a trophy cross that she had just got a couple of days ago from this church. Then she had like photos of the family, photos of people that passed and stuff like that, and some candles and just regular old stuff that was just up there. We got down to the part in the movie, where the preacher, he get to trying to bless the person, trying to get the little spirit, the little demon up out of him and whatnot. And then little demon come out. And they show you what, what it look like. And we watching this movie, and we screaming. Like, we screaming to the top of our lungs. Like, she lead, and I'm her backup. Because we really going at it. Like, we really sitting up here losing it. Like, you don't understand. If you have never watched that movie, and it's your first time, like, watching it, oh, yeah, it's something. It's really something. In there screaming so bad, like we woke her up and she told us, y'all need to shut up and y'all need to man up. I'm just like, if you was in here watching and looking and seeing what I'm looking at and seeing what I'm feeling and going through, you wouldn't be saying that. How you gonna tell us what you just said, but you can't even turn one light off? Movie almost over. You get to the part where the preacher is trying to bless the person, get the demon, get him, whatnot, trying to rebuke him and all that, whatnot in the movie. And it actually come out, like, actually show you, like, what it looked like. And I'm just over there just, like, in fear for my life, because I'm just, like, you saying this is a true story. I don't want this thing up in here with me. Like, I just got here. It already it's already spooky enough up in her house. I don't need nothing extra breaking off up in here. So the next thing I know, I look up and then the thing is screaming and like stuff moving in the room and whatnot, and the power kind of like glitched. Okay, baby, somebody hit a transformer or something, this is typical out here in the South. It's typical. But this cross fell off the mantle. And that was the only thing that fell off of that fireplace. And I'm like, okay. Out of every other thing that was up there, that's the only thing that fell. So, you know what my black ass did? You guessed it. I got right on up out of there. She was screaming my name, unplugging that DVD player. I was already halfway up the steps and she was coming behind. Cause I wasn't finna waste no time trying to figure out what's going on, like psychologically. Cause you can't explain that to me. Like, my brain was just not having it. Like, I passed science class cause I passed physics and science. And I know it takes a little bit much force to knock a trophy off of a fireplace other than a little gushing wind. And this wind wasn't even in the room. So I said, no. I was running up the stairs for my life, trying to get to that holy oil that I had in my room up under that pillow. Yeah, I was trying to get to that. I was gonna get that before it got me. Cause whatever it was in that living room was not gonna enter me without my permission. Yes, I was. So I'm sitting there out of breath, just like in disbelief that that's like what just took place. So I'm in my room. I ain't had no lights on. I had this party light going on. So then my sis came in the room. She was like, well, I don't feel like going to sleep because what just happened. So I'm like, we them type of black people that we actually gotta sit there in quietness and just look at each other, just to like really take in what really happened. Just happened a few minutes ago. We're looking at each other like, did you see what I saw? Was you and me in the same room? We trying to dissect the situation and trying to physically make it make sense. Like, okay, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. So we eventually talked ourselves down off that cliff that we was on. We eventually came down and calmed down. So we were just laughing about the situation in a room in the pitch black with the little party light going on. It's changing colors here, there, and there. I said I had bought this mirror, and I had this mirror on the wall. So she had a couch in there. Say like this a room. She had the couch in there. I'm sitting on the couch. She's sitting on the love seat, and the mirror is right here on the wall. So we just sitting there chopping it up. Like my mind is going back to the fact that my mama was like, certain movies will open you up to a whole lot of things, and you don't want to do that. And I was just like, dang. Here I am telling her to hush, and she might actually be on to something. Because this girl woke up with some unexplainable marks on her body as well. Like, we just like, it's not mathing for me. It's not making sense. We just laughing about what happened. And we changed the subject, started talking about something else. And then it got to that point, it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we was like, okay, it's time. We actually gonna try to go to sleep for real this time, because we got some stuff, we got things to do tomorrow. We just resume movie night to tomorrow and try again. So the second I was about to get up, something told me, look over there to the mirror. Why? And something said, look over there to the mirror. I said, okay. So I looked at her instead of looking over there to that mirror first. And then I think I told her, okay, good night, I'll see you tomorrow. So she was already looking at me. And then I looked over there to the mirror, and it was something white. It was a white figure in the mirror. White whole figure. Like a whole face. I saw a whole white thing. Ghost looked like with a face in the mirror. And it looked like it was walking. Like trying to walk into the room. Trying to get up out that room. Trying to find something to throw. And I know I saw it because I looked at her and she saw it. So we both compared notes saying that we saw the same thing. So at this point I said, oh no, it won't be no going to sleep. No going to sleep for me. So now that I know that I saw what I saw, that you saw what I saw, that we both saw what we saw, I knew I went crazy. And that was the night that I moved into my first apartment. Alright y'all, so thanks for watching. I know that this was like a quick little story time. I just feel like telling y'all this because, of course, it's Halloween coming up. Yeah.